And which among them is toying your line, the mats?
I think my son.
Yes,
I see that.
You see that in him?
Yeah,
okay.
I think my son.
And the girls?
Women, one I see she likes literature, something. The other one said she wants to do law, so I don't want to impose on them. I'm looking at what
you only have to guide them.
Yeah, I'm guiding them. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't look it. You have 3 kids and you're looking this fit. What do you do to keep fit?
I do exercise a lot. I exercise a lot. I can't go with that. If I miss it in the morning, I'll do it in the evening.
You mean every day?
Every day. If I miss it in the morning, I'll do it in the evening.
That's nice.
So I've charted this part for, at least if I'm not doing it, I should do something like 30 minutes.
Of exercise?
Yeah, okay. So I exercise a lot.
What kind of exercise do you do?
Strangely, I like lifting metals. So I've done it for so many years, so it's very easy for me. So typically when I wake up in the morning, so I'll do my stretch. When I do my stretch, I'll do the metal. I'll do like 15 sets of 5. Okay. Then I take the 6 kilogram dumbbells. I also take it up, down. So that says I'm counting. I have some music playing in the background, and so I do it before I realize it's 6 a.m. So
then you have to.
I have to. But sometimes if I sleep and I'm not able to, I'll make sure that my last meal for the day she'll end somewhere around 3 because I want to exercise in the evening. Okay. And so I get into it. So that's what I do. And for consistency, I've done it over the years. So it's become part of me.
Part of you.
Yes,
wow.
Yeah.
You mean you lift metal?
Oh, yes.
Guys! You know, I ran away from javelin because I was told to go and lift metals, and I'm like, oh, really?
Oh. If you do it over time, it's easier. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I do that a lot. Yeah.
Okay, and you listen to music, definitely.
Yes.
What kind of music do you love to listen to?
For me, when there's some latest music, whether gospel, secular, it is what is trending that I go with.
Okay.
So for now, on my gadgets, you go into is that Dinah Hamilton's latest song. That's what I'm listening. If another secular music comes and I listen to it, I'll go and listen. I'll start playing it for a while until I get something new. So that's what.
So Dinah Hamilton is your favorite for now?
Yes.
Is it this one?
Yes, this one. Tell of your goodness,
every chapter of my story. Show how you led me, Lord. I'm the handwriting of mercy by the finger of the Lord. This is the finger of the Lord. You've been right here beside me through the fire, through the rain.
I didn't drown. You were right by my side. I am a living testimony of the goodness of the Lord. This is the finger of the Lord. What shall I render indeed? What shall I render? What shall I render to you? What shall I render? Then I am in a home of fun. And can you say I'm in a home of fun? Ay, 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 I'm in a home of fun. Say I'm in a home of fun. This is the doing of the Lord. And indeed, what shall I render? Say yeah, me no my friend. I get you. Say yeah, me no me mama. Ay 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 ay. Yeah, me no my friend. Say yeah, me no yeah my do. Say me no me mama. It's the doing of the Lord.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Jacqueline Afo, for the good work you're doing. Keep up the good work, and a lot more of the young people, especially women out there, are looking up to you.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work. Viewers, thank you so much for watching PM Personality Profile. And my guests, I've been learning a lot from her. And Sunday is your birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Aisha.
Same time next week, viewers will be bringing you another special edition on PM Personality Profile. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome once again to Home Tips with Mira. Home Tips with Mira is all about home tips, DIYs, and home remedies. So in today's episode, I am doing something very basic, something very simple, and that is frying eggs. Yes, but I'm adding a certain kind of herb to the vegetables that I'll add to the egg, and that herb is so common. In fact, it grows by itself. It's in our gardens. You know, at times when you're walking, you see it in cracked pavement, but it is highly edible. So before we do that, let's step out and then we will see what kind of herb it is. The leaves I'm referring to is purslane. I believe you have seen this before. In fact, it is not weed, it is a herb, and it is so high and so rich in omega-3 fatty acids, something that can be also found in fish oils like salmon. When you eat salmon, you get omega-3 fatty acids, and sardine, and it is so rich in purslane. So when you see purslane in your garden or in your house, maybe it is coming through some cracked pavement, please don't uproot it as weed and throw it away. In fact, it has a lot of uses, both medicinal and for human consumption. So now let's look at how purslane looks like. The stem is a bit fleshy and it is pink, you know, a little reddish, and the leaves are also fleshy, and it has seeds. The seeds are so small and they are so black. So I'm just going to cut some purslane and I'm going to add it to other vegetables, and I'll use it for my egg. Purslane contains a compound which is called oxalate, and it is so high in it, so it's not so advisable to consume it raw. You can just steam it or boil it, and it reduces that one a bit. Just like, you know, how you would consume other leafy vegetables like ademe, like spinach, like kontomire. You know, you just need to boil them up a bit in order to consume them. So it is the same way with purslane. So I'm cutting mine and I'm going to use it for my egg. After harvesting your purslane, cut off the smaller stems and soak it in salt solution for about 5 minutes. This is to kill off any pathogens or living organisms on the purslane. Whilst you are doing that, then you can start to chop your vegetables. But for me, the vegetable that I'm going to add to my egg, I have red bell pepper, I have garlic, I have onion, and then salt to taste, and then I have a bit of cayenne pepper just to add some hotness to it. That is how I like it. And of course, I'm using my usual and regular coconut oil to do the frying. I've chopped all my veggies, including the purslane, and this is a raw purslane. You know, some people eat it raw, but it is not so advisable, like I said earlier, to eat it raw because it contains something called oxalate, and eating it too much can, you know, result in you having kidney stones according to research. So we don't want to have any kidney stones in our body, so we have to subject it to heat a bit. But let me just share with you how it tastes like in its raw form. Okay, it is crunchy, and it's a bit slimy, and it tastes a bit similar to spinach. Yes, it's similar to spinach. So in frying my egg, I'm just going to put my oil in the pan and then add my chopped garlic just to, you know, whip up the flavor, because I love the garlic flavor. And then I'll put in straight my chopped purslane, because I want the cooking time to be a bit more. So I'll just wait for like a minute, and then I'll add my onion and then the chopped red bell pepper. You know, as usual, I always do the tasting for you. So the taste of the purslane now, as it has been cooked, is a bit different from when I tasted it earlier, which was a bit slimy. So always remember to subject your purslane to heat, because that is a better way of taking it. And please remember that purslane also is so rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which is, you know, good for your general well-being. It helps with your brain development, it helps with bone health, and, you know, it boosts your immunity. And please, when you are using your purslane, wherever you get it from, whether in your garden or by the roadside, be careful, because, you know, there's a probability that pesticides or, you know, weedicides has been used in that area. We don't want to ingest any poison into our body. So whilst enjoying your purslane, please go on my YouTube page to subscribe and share, and also follow me on Facebook. And remember to take very good care of your body, because that is all that you have. So please, until I come your way again next time, please stay positive and bye-bye.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Touchline. I'm George Addy Jr. And like we do it every other weekend, we get to talk about the very interesting topics in the world of football and look forward to what is to come in terms of the action. As usual, I'm joined by the two gentlemen to do the analysis for today. Kofi, thing is, we've been talking about building systems and building systems. How long has Ten Hag been at Manchester United? Has he built a system now? Or is it a Kobe Menu system for now? What system has he built now?
Maybe the only positive you can say about him is Kobe Menu. But
sometimes you can be waiting and waiting, no system comes up.
The thing is, again, I think he's another case study who's probably really struggling among United in terms of like with the fan base. He doesn't really quite have full support of the fan base. They're quite unsure about his approach to certain games. You know, he goes into certain games already looking or feeling defeated. Sometimes his post-match conferences, his demeanor says something really off you actually want to ask yourself, did we really watch the same game as this one? You know, and he reminds me a bit of Brendan Rodgers when Liverpool lose a game by 3-0, and it's like, oh yeah, we showed really high character. You're losing a game and saying you're showing a character. What character are you showing? At the end of the day,
the boys gave their all.
I don't know if it's a way to take pressure off the boys, but I don't think it's quite helping. Man United, look, they've been like a matrix this season. The days you expect them to falter, they go out there and then they put in not a great show, but then they hold their own and then they sneak out, they make himself out there.
Like last weekend.
Like last week against Liverpool. I think for me, Liverpool,
which I enjoyed.
Liverpool would always, when they went to halftime, one, I said, look, this game was going to be always difficult for Liverpool, especially knowing the kind of chances they missed in the first half. It was always good. I didn't think they were going to lose, but then it was going to be very, very difficult to come away with 3 points because Man United cannot play any worse than they played in the first half. And they were not going to end the game without a shot on target. So they were going to try something. That mistake from Kwanzaa, yeah, he's young. You don't want to pardon him for that. Defenders always make mistakes. Goals happen when defenders make mistakes as well. So yeah, I pardon him for that. But then United will always find themselves in situations where they can make something, and it gives them a bit of confidence going to other games, and then they won't falter. So yes, they've also been robbing Peter to pay for probably for large chunks of the season. Erik ten Hag also has struggled to have the full complement of his team. He's had Martinez injured from
but they keep saying that, but that is not why they are losing games. So why?
I don't think
because they don't say they have injuries when they win games.
Of course, I think every team has suffered injuries this season. Probably even
it's out.
I think maybe
even Chelsea can use that. Can use that as an excuse. They can't use that.
Exactly. The thing is, you can have a lot of injuries, but then the kind of injuries you have, injuries to certain key players who could affect games, players who could change things for you. That is why it becomes tricky. They had Lisandro Martinez, like I was saying, off for a good number of games. But then, if you look at the kind of goals they conceded, if he was there, you ask yourself, are they going to concede similar goals? Because he's not that great in the air. So they might concede some of these goals, but then that's the excuses they make, that we've got this player injured, we're struggling to push it. But then, if you have a system, when Josh said, regardless of players you bring in, if you have a proper system, players will come in and then they get used to the system, they follow suit. Like Endo joined the Liverpool team, new in the Premier League, follow the system, he's playing seamlessly. He has also struggled to find a proper system for Man United. That is why Anthony has been struggling. The Anthony we saw in Ajax is not the Anthony we're seeing now. Marcus Rashford last season has been a pale shadow of himself. He has actually struggled to find himself feeding off the strikers. Højlund, yeah, he's been good. I think he struggled in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, he's done pretty well. But then, again, you can tell that he's struggling. He's feeding off scraps. That is where the system is not quite working for him. So Erik ten Hag, just like Pochettino, haven't quite found systems that is going to work for them. And that is their problems. And that is where their teams keep struggling. United have flirted around the big table, like between 6 and 8 all season, because systems are not working. So if you meet the teams that have pace, have quality, they will exploit it and then they'll beat you. And that is why they find themselves where they are. Again, just like Pochettino, would he be given a chance next season? I think it's going to be make or break for him. If he cannot break into the top 4, he cannot find a proper system that United fans would love going to the stadium to watch, I think he'll be gone.
I mean, Josh, it's always very clear from these teams, and like very typical of the Manchester United team. When they want games, you see the players running, tracking, tackling, pushing, virtually fighting and putting themselves out there. They've not been able to do that in every game. And in the games where they fail to do that, the opponent takes advantage. But you've got, and like you say, systems, if Rico Lewis is brought into a game, he does almost exactly what the player he replaced is doing in terms of running, fighting for the ball, tracking for the ball. Same thing Endo has got. And Liverpool had these issues last season when that midfield were not as fluid as they were supposed to be the years before. And so teams took advantage of their midfield, and Liverpool struggled last season. This season, they've got men who are in there and doing the running. So if Manchester United players are not running, and it's clear that when they are playing games, they are not tracking. Casemiro is supposed to run back. Either he's not got the energy, or he does not think it's necessary to run back. A right back or a left back is not willing to go back. Liverpool or any team playing against you will take that advantage. So this is why many owners will look back at the coaches and say, what kind of system have you put in place? Because every player that comes on must play in terms of deliver what you're supposed to do, the work rate and all, and then let the differences be in terms of the kind of eye and vision, the players have got and all. It's sad, but you have to still put this down to the doorstep of Ten Hag, isn't it?
I mean, of course, I think that when I look at Man United, I think their situation is a bit more different to what Chelsea have, because Chelsea flipped literally their whole squad. They have very young players. Man United don't have the same. They have a bit more experience, and so you'd expect a bit more control when it comes to them. But it looks clear and obvious, even when that's why I also don't agree when they say that they are losing games because they are missing certain key players. Yes, those players might be key, but when Lisandro Martinez started the season, when Luke Shaw started the season, we still saw them lose games. I watched United go to Tottenham, and they were battered that day, even though they lost 2-0. They were all over the place. We saw them on the first day of the season against Wolves, where Wolves should have gotten something out of the game. I mean, they've had several of those games where they've had all those players who are injured in those games, and they've still not quite played well. They've still not played well. So for me, I think that for Man United, I'll solely blame the manager, because if I look, like I said earlier, if I look at Chelsea, we've got a lot of, I mean, there's a mixture of a lot of factors that I can consider with the Chelsea situation. Obviously, a Man United fan will hear me say this and say that, look, Ten Hag has come in and he's not really getting rid of certain players he wants to get rid of and bring in his own guys. But this is the arguments that I always make, that you look at the signings he's even made, and how many of his signings have really transformed this Man United team? How many of them have really walked into this team and made it their own? He's still relying on some of the old guard, because some of his signings are not even pulling up their weight. And so that is where the problem is. You have an Anthony sitting there who can't even start games because he's been so out of form. And we saw him last season. He wasn't even too good last season. And this season has been worse. You look at even Rasmus Højlund. I mean, yes, he went through a good purple patch, but he's beginning to struggle again. You look at the likes of Rashford and Co. He's still relying on these old guys, because the signings he's made hasn't really transformed the team. Casemiro is struggling in midfield these days. He needs Kobe Mainoo's energy as a youngster to help him in midfield. I mean, all these guys like Scott McTominay, who we thought would leave, Maguire, who we thought would leave, all these guys are being relied on by the manager. So for me, it tells me that when it comes to Man United, I have to blame the manager, because he's been in the job for almost 2 years. We don't really see a system. You ask any United fan what their style of play is, what their philosophy is, they don't know. They can't really tell you. And so you can really tell that you watch their games and the way they play, teams run over them. They are conceding shots at will, 30 shots a game, 24 shots a game against the likes of Brentford and Co. It's not good for Man United. So for me, I think that for Manchester United, it's all down to the manager. And I'll be very shocked if he stays in the job next season, because it's so clear that he's not been able to take on the United job, the weight of the United job, as well as he did when he was at Ajax.
I don't know then, Kofi, do you think that Liverpool should be disappointed with that result against Manchester United? And of course, even though there are games remaining, how critical is that to the psychology of the race? And for most of the people who, because I had a little chat with guys and we're like, oh, there are many games, and I'm like, no, when you get to this part of the seasons running, there is more to do with the psychology going into the games even than the actual games being played. There's more going up in the heads of the players around that. So I want to know from you, Kofi, how much of this is going to affect Liverpool?
See, the thing is, if Liverpool should lose this title, they'll look back at some of these draws. Like, forget those referee issues with Arsenal, with Spurs and the likes. They'll look back at some of these draws and curse some of these games. Like, that's where they miss the chances. But then again, there's been a lot of downplaying, because Liverpool are quite relaxed about it. I think I watched the game against Man United, and you could see how some of the new guys were a bit jittery. They were a bit like in a rush to get certain things out of the way. Some of the older guys were still much relaxed. And again, after the match, you could see that from their body languages. They seem to be much more relaxed. There's not a lot of pressure on them. Before the United game, they had their own destiny in their own hands. Win all the games and then win the title. Now it's in Arsenal's hands. We take that pressure again off them, thinking that if Arsenal win all their games, they are champions. But then this is where probably is now going to games thinking that let's just go and enjoy ourselves and then keep an eye on whatever happens. They may not admit.
Did you see the body language of Klopp? He was absolutely upset.
Of course, if you find yourself in that position,
and he should tell you,
nobody will find themselves in that position and not want to win the league. At the start of the season, if you had told Liverpool that with 7 games to go, they will be in and around winning the league title, they would have bitten your hands off and they would grab it.
So I don't want Liverpool fans to play the psychology game. I mean, the point is that they are in for this title and they're looking for the title.
At this point,
it is not over. It's not over because Manchester City. No, but it's not over because in 2019, a few years back, Manchester City have led sometimes with just a point and managed to win it. So it's still advantage Liverpool, in my view.
No, it's not advantage Liverpool. It's advantage Arsenal. If Arsenal win all their games, they won it. How is it advantage Liverpool then?
I'll tell you why.
If Arsenal win all the games,
Arsenal have got 2 critical games coming up. That's maybe three of those.
Exactly.
They've got Chelsea, they've got Spurs, they've got Manchester United. That's too much for one team.
Liverpool has also got Arsenal, Spurs to play, and they've got Spurs to play. They've got to go to Villa. The thing is, no, they've got Spurs to play at Anfield, and then they've got to go to Villa. You know, the thing is, if Arsenal win all their games, they're champions. It's not advantage Liverpool because now they've got to hope that somebody does them a favor. If they are beating Man United, it's advantage Liverpool. No two ways. The thing is, Klopp was fuming, obviously, publicly because yes, nobody expects them to get into that position in the season and not want to win the league. Any team who finds themselves in that position would jump at the chance of winning the league. And mind you, that's his last season. At the start of this season, again, like I said, I didn't think they even believed they would be there.
Keeps going back to the start of the season. We are not talking about start of the season anymore.
I didn't think they even believed they would be there.
Kofi, you were in a title race. Kofi, when the season began, I said this thing. Kofi, I said this thing when the season began, and I remember we had a program like this, and we kept on saying that.
And I told Liverpool was going to win the league. You know, I told Liverpool was going to win the league.
No. We said I'm saying that we said that if there was any team capable of challenging Manchester City, it has to be Liverpool because of the DNA. They have been doing it in the last few years.
That was the discussion we had here, but nobody listened to all the pundits. Gary Neville has to.
No, but we said it here. We said it.
I've listened to literally almost all the pundits who made their favorite. One second, it was just Man City and Arsenal, yeah. And I'm telling you, and remember when we spoke about who probably will win the league? I said, I'm happy that nobody has mentioned Liverpool, but I think Liverpool will win the league. If you remember, if you go back and check,
I constantly said Liverpool have the DNA.
It wasn't because I support Liverpool, but that's what I felt, that Liverpool will win the league this season because they would go about their business quietly. They are getting a McAllister who knows how to play the Premier League already. They're going to get Szoboszlai, who is an upgrade on Henderson, who will give you goals. And he's contributed 11 goal contribution already this season. McAllister has now 10 goal contribution. And I told you that if this midfield is going to give them goals, and that will make them more dangerous. And that's what we are seeing.
All right, that's right. Just let me pick advantage Liverpool in your view.
Of course, I think it's advantage Liverpool. And for me, I just wanted to find out from Kofi if he thought that Arsenal bottled the league last season.
I said Man City was going to win the league last season. So whether Arsenal I said Man City was going to win.
It's a straight question. Or whether they bottle
because the point I just want to make is that at the start of last season, nobody gave Arsenal the chance to even challenge for the title. But when they found themselves in that situation, they had to win it. They didn't win it, and they bottled it, and everybody went at them because they bottled it. At the start of that season,
because of
they were coming
in terms of points.
Arsenal were coming into that season, finishing 5th from the previous season, having finished 8th twice in the 2 prior seasons, and so
last season as well.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you bottle it when you get there. Once you get there and it's in your hands, you have to win it. You have to try.
At the moment, it's not in Liverpool's hands. Whose hands are? It's not in Liverpool's hands.
I don't think it's out of Liverpool's hands because if Liverpool win all their games from now to the end of the season and they better Arsenal's goal difference, they win the league. So it's still in Liverpool's hands.
No, No,
Liverpool
the thing
can
is,
better Arsenal's goal difference and win all their games and still win the league,
yeah,
regardless of what Arsenal does.
that is a
So it's
possibility.
still
That is a possibility. But what are the chances of that happening? If Arsenal go on to win all their
We
games,
are going to chances of that happening.
It's possible that Arsenal can win all their games and win them by maybe a goal margin.
It doesn't look like it. Arsenal hasn't shown signs of winning games by slim margins. They haven't shown that sign.
But at this stage of the season, it will require Arsenal to win certain games.
If you tell me that at this stage of the season you expect Liverpool to keep cool heads and know how to navigate their way to the title than Arsenal, I agree with you because they've been there before.
Exactly.
They've got to know that. But Arsenal were in this similar position last season, so they should have an experience of. They should have the recency experience of knowing how to navigate. If it comes to win the league.
I think when it comes to experience, Liverpool have more experience in this situation than Arsenal because Liverpool have been here. They've been here about 4 or 5 times more than Arsenal, so they should be favorites. And for me, when I go by the Opta supercomputer, it says that Liverpool have about a 35% chance of winning the league. Arsenal have about 8% chance of winning the league. For me,
if you go with supercomputer, Man City wins the league. If you go with supercomputer, the Man City win the league then.
Okay, but my point is, I don't know why, and seriously, I know that Liverpool fans, and sometimes when they realize the whole thing, they're beginning to create the scenarios that will make them comfortable if they're not able to.
It's not about being.
No, Kofi, hold on. I'm saying, and I said this on record that even before the season started, if there was anybody going to push Man City, it should be Liverpool because they have.
It should be Liverpool.
They have been in the habit of doing it. It's Man City, Liverpool before anyone else. I mean, forget about what Aston were able to do. They're still trying to build the DNA. In the last few years, the only other team that has won the title is Liverpool. Or have been second. So they are closest to fighting Man City. So they don't run away from the battle now. They have to win against Manchester United and continue.
Let me ask both of you this question now before we end. So the quick one, before the start of the season, you were expecting Liverpool to challenge Man City. If anybody was going to challenge Man City, it was Liverpool. Now, this Liverpool team didn't have any midfield and had done a whole total overhaul of midfield. How did you expect that this midfield were going to gel with?
So let me explain. It's also because of the manager they had. And in my view, they had the manager. And remember that there were elements of the Liverpool team that will be able to carry new boys when they come in. The problem we're seeing at Chelsea, for instance, is the fact that those elements that were supposed to be there to carry the young ones were away. So it's like if you can change the entire Man City midfield, but if you still got the key guys around, they'll be able to guard the team. And so I think if you have
we saw a perfect example in the cup final when there were a lot of young boys on the pitch, but Van Dijk being the leader was able to carry these young boys along. And we saw a clear example there.
You see, I'm not disputing that, right? I'm not.
So don't dispute the fact. It's advantage Liverpool. We don't want to agree.
No, Klopp was always. Klopp was always going to be a huge figure in deciding whether Liverpool wins the league. If he is there, he's definitely going to be very crucial to whether Liverpool are going to be very close to the title or no. You can't take that away from it. But then, if you see this team, especially with a whole new midfield, it's not like you've kept like 2 or 3 of the starters. It's a whole new midfield. And you're like, looking at this new midfield, they're going to slot in seamlessly because you've got.
So let me explain. So when you say, and this is what I'm saying, that when you say a whole new midfield, when you say a whole new midfield, you are ignoring you are ignoring your wingers and your right backs who are falling into places. The midfield is there's still key elements of the team there.
And there were guys in there like Curtis Jones, Elliott, who have had over 100 appearances for Liverpool.
And just at the time, you're not going to tell me that both of they were the go-to men for your. It was the likes of Henderson and Co. Curtis Jones at the start of this season was very crucial because Klopp had to use him as one of the senior midfielders. But he has been there for a while.
Don't let us. Let me drive it home.
Like, play around him.
Let me drive it home. Okay.
So this is where the system works. Klopp found a way.
The system is working. The system is working. The young boys came in. They were carried on. Now let me drive it home. Where is the fear for Liverpool? Are you worried that you not? Are you worried that Are you worried that you may not be able to win all your games to the end of the season?
No.
Or you think that winning all your games to the end of the season will not be enough?
No, George, I think you know me by now to know that I still stick with what I said from the start of the season. I said personally, it's not because I'm a Liverpool fan, but I expect Liverpool to win the league based on what I saw in preseason.
And then they are favorites.
Not many people have had the opportunity to see what I saw in preseason. But I said from what I saw in preseason, if Soboslai can give the team double figures in terms of goal contribution, if McAllister can do same, if Gravenberch can even chip in with certain amount of
can you win
goals,
the rest of
then
your
the
games?
team-
Can you win the rest of your games? Can you win the rest of your games?
I think they're winnable.
The winnable
I don't
games.
see why
Good.
they shouldn't win them.
Now, so Josh, let's explain why we think Liverpool are should be advantage Liverpool, because again, you look at the Arsenal fixtures, they're worrying to think that
They're very
to play
tough.
to think that they have to play two of their two derbies. No, it's not easy. And if any Liverpool fan says no, that's why the game against Manchester United was tough, because when you went to win the title, you don't want those arch rivals and those that, because clearly Spurs and Chelsea will be okay. If we're not winning the league, we're not going to allow you to win the league and come and walk around London and disturb us.
If they had beaten Man United,
no. So the worst nightmare that you have is when you have a run-in and you've got to play teams like that. And Spurs can tell you when they were in the race with Leicester how Chelsea played against Spurs. They played as if and look, I'm telling you, Manchester United
2013-14. 12-13 comes to mind easily when Chelsea decided to go and spoil Liverpool's party.
Don't even take it too far. Remember what happened when Manchester United played Liverpool. The reason why they lifted their game that high, I saw a clip, was it Diaz and Maguire? They were virtually fighting with their lives to say, if we won't win it, you won't win it. And that's why Josh, isn't that why the Arsenal running is slightly complicated? Isn't that why?
It's a very tough running, and like you mentioned, they have to play Spurs and Chelsea. I mean, I think 3 days apart. They're playing Spurs and Chelsea 3 days apart.
Yeah,
that is quite a tough.
We don't even know where they will be in the Champions League by then.
And they've still got to go to Old Trafford, the ground where they've won just once since 2006. And so I look at those 3 games, and they are very, very tough games for Arsenal. And so I don't really, for me, until Arsenal go and do it, I don't think this Arsenal team can win all 7 games and win the title until they actually prove that they can do it.
You know how Liverpool can win this league? If both Arsenal and City make it into the semi-final of the Champions League, City will be looking at wanting to go back and win the Champions League.
No, you don't know Pep Guardiola.
The test is there.
You don't know Pep.
The test is there. He's won the Champions League with Man City. He wants to win it. Arsenal feels like they've not won the Champions League.
If we put all those factors together, then it makes Liverpool favorites. And for me, Liverpool.
That is where I'll probably say Liverpool can take advantage of them, because I feel if Liverpool win the league, both teams has to be in the semi-final.
Well, I'll say that. I'll say that at the moment, when you look at this, the psychology build up at the moment, it will almost feel like it's Man City gradually getting their confidence to go through this. I mean, the confidence of Arsenal is dented, and Arsenal have got a bit of uncertainties up in front. So it's something that rather as Man City can take advantage of, going in there. But you haven't said a lot about it. But what have you made of Man City's run so far? I mean, Liverpool. I mean, I almost said Liverpool is Kofi. I mean, what have you made of the Arsenal run? I mean, the Man City run. Just before we wrap up, got a few minutes to do that.
I'm not really surprised. Of course, everybody expects Man City to defend the title, so I'm not really surprised that they are always there and thereabouts. However, I was a bit disappointed with some of the games and how they played. You could want to make a case for them that maybe fatigue set in or hangover set in. They didn't really start some of the games really well, which took a bit of steam off them. But then the thing is, they are always dangerous when they find themselves lurking around the title with 7 games to go. If any team knows how to win the league with 7 games to go, of course it's Man City. If any team knows how to rack up 7 wins out of the last 7 games to win the title, Man City knows how to do that. They've proven that they know how to do that.
And Liverpool, yeah.
Liverpool know how to do that because they've challenged Man City several. We've seen it in the last 3 or 4 years where both of them had gone neck to neck with the last 10 games of the season, and both of them had failed. Where Haaland didn't play, Kevin De Bruyne, and they were still relaxed. They still went about their business. They still they brushed them aside, and that's the confidence that they ooze. That is the kind of relaxed atmosphere that is there. I think for Man City, they know that, look, if Liverpool and Arsenal mess up, they're picking the title. So they're not really worried about missing out on the title because they know that, look, if any team can do it, they can do it.
I think a lot of the teams are worried that it's Man City chasing, and that is where there's a lot of pressure. Josh,
I think not to cut you.
Yeah.
I don't know for Arsenal, but then I had this conversation with one of Liverpool players. They were like, they would prefer City to be chasing them than they chase City.
That was one day, right?
they would prefer City to be chasing them than they chase City. Because they've been, based on experience and based on, I don't know what happens when they have their own meetings and stuff, but I think based on they're chasing them, they feel like there's no room for error. And the margin of error is really, really minimal.
I mean, when you start the day, playing the day, you know, if you lose, Man City will take advantage, and that's your biggest fear.
Exactly. That's why
going forward in there. So it's also a problem because Liverpool have led sometimes, and Manchester City have chased, and when they have taken over, I mean, they're able to just go right to the end. Just a quick line, so now we just wrap it up. What do you make of their run in Man City's games, though, Josh? Quickly.
I think of the three, they look like on paper they have the easiest running, and so you'd expect them to win all 7 games. I can't really see a game. They still ended the season very strongly. I mean, they didn't lose any of their last 9 or so games, and so I think that Liverpool have been there. They've also done that. They can also go on these crazy runs, and so I expect those two to go on a crazy run in the last 7 games. For Arsenal, I'm not really sure because, like I said, until they actually prove that they can do it and they do it, I'll not believe that Arsenal will do it because playing Spurs, Chelsea, and Man United.
Thank you very much for joining me on this one. Absolutely agree. Thank you very much, Kofi Asichire, for your time, and a big thank you to you, Josh Akwe, as well. Where I have to say thank you to all of you for joining us. We're definitely back next week, and till we meet then, we hope that your teams get to win, and we'll see the end of this intriguing title race. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you so much for always tuning into this channel. I am so grateful that you keep holding down E-Vibes here on your favorite channel. You know what we do? We celebrate the people that you love, the people that are making impact in our societies. And today I am a bit shaky because she's a celebrated South African gospel musician, and her voice alone will make your wig fall off because I've had an experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Ntokozo. I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
I was very nervous about the name. I needed to get the name right, and my Zulu, I just forgot my Zulu. So we're going to make a trade.
Awesome.
Welcome, you already know that, which is Akwaba.
Akwaba, yeah.
But you know, we have several languages here in Ghana, not just the tree.
Yeah.
So you learnt the tree because probably you've been rolling with the tree guys, the emojis and the Joe Metals and the rest. But there's Ga as well, there's Eve. So because you already know the tree, can we try the Eve?
Okay.
So the Eve, to say you're welcome, is Wezo.
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 So if I have to say that in Zulu, because that's, you know, your background, what would I say?
You'd have to say probably Sawubona.
Sawubona.
Yeah, in literal meaning is I see you. Oh. So it's a way that we greet each other in isiZulu. We say Sawubona.
Sawubona.
Yes.
Sawubona Ntokozo.
Wait a minute.
I am so grateful that you could do this with me here on E-Vibes. You have a very, very beautiful voice. I'm sure you already know.
Go on.
I'm just wondering. I'm sure you already know. But,
Sigo
but I have to ask. You already know, right?
I don't know.
Your voice is the reason why we're here. I mean,
I don't know. So I've heard. So I've heard people say.
you know what she's doing right now? I see you. I see what you're doing. But welcome to Ghana. This obviously is now your first time in Ghana.
Yeah.
I know that you've been in and out. You've been on the Joe Metal stage, and recent one is the MOG 10 years anniversary. Beautiful performance. First of all, let me ask you, I mean, how was your time on set last night?
Oh, it was amazing. I really, really had a great time. I think it was just absolutely awesome. I always have a great time when I'm in Ghana, but yesterday was just particularly very, I don't know, profound, I guess, you know, and exceptional. You know, I got to sing with MOG music. We got to record a song together.
New song.
A new song, which is really exciting. And it's a beautiful song as well. And I really believe that it will resonate with a lot of people, and it will bless a lot of people. So I was just really, you know, excited and truly grateful that God really visited us last night. Yeah.
He surely did. I was visited. I don't know about the many people who showed up, but I want to find out about your musical journey. I know it's been a very long time. You've been in the business for a while. You didn't just, you know, or we didn't just wake up and you were here. No,
Yeah.
you started from somewhere. I'd love to, you know, talk about the journey, how it all began. I know about Joyous Celebration, where the whole journey started from.
Yeah.
You mind throwing a bit of light on the journey?
Awesome, for sure. Well, I'll be honest though and say Joy Celebration was not necessarily where it all began.
Okay.
It all started at home, actually. My mother, truly grateful for my mother and my father, who were very instrumental in shaping the person that I am today. Grew up in a very strong Christian home. My father used to do sound in our church.
Wow.
My mother was a worship leader in our church. She led worship every single Sunday in heels, looking grand and amazing, and really greatly anointed woman of God. So I think my first experience with what a true worship leader was through seeing my mother do it every single Sunday, but not only on Sunday only, but I saw the way that she lived her life constantly during the week. You know, the early morning wake-up calls where she would wake up and pray and see God's face, and not only pray and see God's face, but also pray for us as well as her children. You know, sometimes you'd wake up in the middle of the night and wondering, why do I feel like I'm being pressed on? But it was just my mom's hand praying over your life, you know. And that's where I learned what being a true worship leader is, and was through looking and observing with what my mom was doing and the life that she was living. And as time went by, they discovered that I had the gift and the talent, and so they nurtured it. From a very young age. I remember my first time actually singing was in church when I was 4 years old. And yeah, it was very interesting. It was very, very interesting.
And the fact that they nurtured it. You know,
Yeah.
African homes, nobody really cares. I mean, you have to be a doctor.
Yeah, it's either
Or
you're a
a
doctor
lawyer.
or a lawyer.
Yeah,
but
so we have to congratulate your parents for, you know, doing that. 4
they
years
did a
old.
great job.
Yeah, they did.
They were amazing, and I'm truly grateful to God for them. And then as the years went by, I formed a group with my parents. I was in a group with my parents. We sang together. Went around touring KZN, which was part of South Africa. It's a province. Going to different churches, sang at weddings, birthday parties, funerals. Tagging along with my parents until actually at the age of 15, that's when the Joyous Celebration journey started. And that's when, I started being part of the industry.
Wow. Incredible story. And then you got to Joyous Celebration. At what point did you decided that, okay, well, obviously you know that you had the talent. It was nurtured at 4.
Yeah.
So when did you actually realize that, okay, I need to, you know, go my way, just go solo and do my own thing?
Oh man, I think. Well, first of all, let me say that. Let me go back a bit. When I
when I was 13, I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Even though I had started singing gospel with my parents and so forth, but I actually fully made the decision to follow Christ at the age of 13. And from that moment onwards, purpose was really ignited in me. It felt like a light bulb moment where I suddenly knew what my life was going to be, what my purpose was, and what my calling was. It was to be in the music ministry, you know. And from then onwards, I truly believe that God just really ordered my steps into where it was supposed to be and where I was supposed to go to. And you know, when I was part of Joy Celebration, it was really absolutely amazing, because with Joy Celebration, obviously it's a group, so everything's done for you. You just show up and you just open your mouth and sing. You know, you arrive on a platform and everything's in place. They'd even make our uniforms, the clothes that we would wear on stage. So everything was taken care of, where you'd sleep and so forth. But I reached a stage whereby there was a burning desire within me to really fully pursue purpose, you know, and God showed me that I had to step out in order for me to fully pursue purpose the way that He had called and had planned for me to do. And that was basically the decision, you know. Destiny was calling, purpose was calling, and I decided to answer the call, and I stepped out with my husband. Actually, at the time, we started. It's amazing how we started together and we ended together in the group as well. So that was God, I believe. You know, that He led us in that way. It was time, and it had to be done.
And it's looking extremely beautiful all the way. So between that journey, I mean, how would you describe the journey? That solo journey together with your husband, I mean, has taken you a lot of places.
Yes.
And has landed you here as
in
well.
Ghana.
We're having this conversation. You mind telling me about the journey? How was it? Do you have, or at any point, do you have any challenges that you might want to share? And how did you handle it?
Oh man, I believe it's like every person's journey, you know. There's no perfect life, but we do serve a perfect God. You know, obviously there were challenges, obviously there were struggles here and there, because I mean, when you make a decision to step out and to be on your own and to follow purpose, the truth of the matter is your intentions will be tested. Are you doing this for the right reasons? And in order for your intentions and the pursuit of your purpose to be tested, it is through going through trials and tribulations, you know. And I truly believe that, as Scripture says, that the testing of our faith, you know, produced patience within us and perseverance. And we endured all of that. You know, struggling with finances, obviously everybody goes through that. Even people, when you start your own new business, you know, financial issues,
you go through it.
You go through it all.
Sponsorship,
you know,
and all of
exactly.
That.
You know, having to put everything together suddenly on your own. But the beautiful thing is that even when we think we're alone, we're never alone as children of God, because God said in His Word that He would never leave us nor forsake us. And for us, what really kept us going forward and you know, persevering through it all without fear and without reservation was the fact that we were rooted in our local church. We still are in our local church. We serve in our local church. We have a father. We have a spiritual father who speaks over our lives, who encourages us. And our home church has really been so instrumental in really helping us in you know, keeping the faith through the hardest of times. You know, those days when you really need a word and you're feeling discouraged, we go to church on Sunday and we would hear God speaking to us clearly, and that would give us the strength for the week, you know, to continue on. And we're truly grateful, you know, for the man of God that God placed over our lives, you know, who has helped us and been so instrumental, you know, in encouraging us and saying, hey, okay, this is not the way to go. Don't do it this way. Go this way. okay, now you're on the right track, you know. We're also workers in our church. We lead a department. We're leaders in our church. We lead the music departments in our church as well. And God has just been so faithful, you know, by also surrounding us with family. We're truly blessed to have wonderful family. Who has held our hand through it all and who've stuck with us through it all. God blessed us with amazing children, you know, who when we felt like giving up, we'd look at in their faces and in their eyes, and we would see God and hope, you know, all at the same time. So it's just being surrounded with God's grace and His mercy and His love, you know, and Him surrounding us with wonderful people. And I couldn't even be more grateful for all of that. I believe that is what has kept us going through the journey. His word, His obviously prayers, and obviously His people, you know, and also hearing testimonies from people about the music and what it has done for their lives, you know. Absolutely, that has helped us.
The music, that voice. I mean, that was the first thing that I told you about, the voice. And you write your own songs. You do.
Yeah.
How many songs do you have? I mean, how many albums? For the benefit of, you know, the people who aren't familiar with who you are and what you represent and where you're coming from. You can't remember?
No.
I know you do have an album.
How many albums have I got? No, but I've got quite a number. I think I've got 7 albums that I've released. Yeah, I think 7 is the number.
7. We cannot count the songs. So take me through the process of you writing the music, or just picking up a song. Sometimes people say that, well, I went to bed and I slept and I saw Holy Spirit and they spoke to us. How does your process work? I know that it's different with
for
everybody.
Exclusively deserve our worship. Nobody else deserves this worship. Nobody else deserves this worship. We lift our voices. We raise our voices. We raise our voices. We raise our voices. And we sing glory. Glory. Glory to your name. Glory to your name. Glory.
Everybody. Yeah. It is very different. I think it's even different for every single song. Some songs we do get them in dreams, whether it's through a vision, whether it's through a dream, or sometimes I'm just walking on the streets or in a mall and I hear a melody in my heart and in my spirit, and then I take out my phone quickly and I record it on my phone. Or sometimes it's really intentional, and my husband and I would sit in our homes, in our studio. Well, it's no longer a home studio. We actually have a studio now. But sometimes we'd sit in the studio and be intentional about, okay, we want to write a song about this scripture. And we'd go to God's word, and then he'd come up with a progression, and I'd sit and try to figure out lyrics and melody, and and then we'd work together to create a song. You know, it really differs. Sometimes sometimes you're forced to write a song because there's a project that needs to be done,
to be released,
and exactly, and then you have to create something, and then we go to studio and sit down and we're like, okay, what do we have? And then we sit down and we're like, but I like the scripture. Maybe I've actually always wanted to write a song about this verse in the Bible. And we take it from there. So it really depends. Sometimes we honestly do get songs in our dreams. And I try to wake up immediately so I can quickly record it on my phone. But then sometimes it sounds weird in the morning. It sounds because I was sleepy.
I know.
But I do figure it out at the end. Yeah.
You do. Wow. Beautiful. That's interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting. So we have a growing industry here in Ghana, the gospel music industry. We'll come to your awards very soon, but I want to talk about your industry. How is your industry like, the gospel music industry in South Africa? I know that you've also seen, heard, and worked with a couple of people here in Ghana, so you're a bit familiar with our industry comparatively. Is something different from our industry here to yours? We do things differently, right? Tell
I
me
don't
about
know.
it. Or do we have any similarities in there that you've noticed with the Ghanaian music industry and the South African industry?
I think what I've noticed in the Ghanaian music industry is that most of the people who are in the industry have other jobs that they do as well.
Right.
I don't know if that's true.
Most of them.
Most of them have other jobs and other things that they're doing as well. Whereas with South Africa, our industry is actually quite strong in the sense that you're able to do music and music alone.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
That's interesting.
It is. I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
That's what we've been fighting for, really. I mean, they've been fighting for. So just go ahead and do music so that you don't have to worry about the other things. But the system doesn't really support, like the way you're saying that it supports you. The system doesn't really support stream unless you're putting your work on a streaming platform that is earning you money, that you know that you don't necessarily have to work.
Yeah. But it's taken a long time though, and there's still some injustices as well back home, and I believe that it's worth working towards and trying to rectify those injustices and creating a better industry even for the next generation. As the generation that has gone before us, they've tried to create an industry that supports us in some kind of way, but it can definitely be much better, and I think that for me is probably the biggest difference between the Ghanaian industry and the South African music industry. The talent is incredible here. The productions are amazing. The ones that I've been blessed to be part of, production-wise, it's been incredible. The talent has been amazing to see. The songs are amazing. I love Ghanaian songs.
Who taught you that song?
I love. Joe did. Joe taught me that. All right. The music is amazing, and it truly is beautiful because I started coming to Ghana, I think about almost 10 years ago.
Right.
So seeing how it has grown
over the
years and how the industry has progressed over the years has been just so beautiful to watch. And I'm truly grateful and honored to be part of that journey.
What does collaboration means to you? Like, you're collaborating with, obviously, you've collaborated with Joe Metal. You've collaborated with MOG just recently.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to collaborating with more, especially the female?
Yeah, definitely.
And what do you mean? What do you think it means to you to be able to collaborate with other people?
I'd love to. I love collaborations. I'm a strong believer in collaborations, and more than collaborations, for me, collaborations interpret to relationship. I love, having a relationship with these amazing people that I've had the opportunity to collaborate. It's not just about two artists coming together, but it's about two beings. It's a relationship that we're creating, and that for me is what a collaboration is. Scripture says that one can chase 1,000, but two can chase 10,000. So when two come together to create something, it really is blessed by God, because God also says in his word that where there's unity, he commands a blessing. So collaborations have always been in scripture. Everywhere you look, you see God working with men to create a better future for his people, and that for me, even if you look at the Trinity, they're in collaboration with each other, God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit, so collaborations in the kingdom are really necessary and so important, and I'd really love to collaborate with a female artist. You're
looking forward to anyone? Have you seen?
I have, but I don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
So
Now she's going to leave to South Africa without giving us anything.
My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed for now.
I wish I could take that away from you, but obviously I respect that. Let's talk about your awards before, I mean, we wrap it up. I'm so sad that you're leaving, but let's talk about your awards. You've won so many awards to your credits because of obviously the talents that you have. Tell me about the recent one.
The recent one.
Yeah.
That one was really special because I got it here when I was in Ghana.
Yeah.
And I was Gospel Artist of the Year, Africa, and that was truly a blessing. I'm truly honored that I received that recognition. Although I always try to maintain that I don't do what I do for the awards. I don't do what I do for the recognition. It's all about the advancement of the kingdom of God, because that is what my purpose is and that's what my calling is. But I am so grateful and I'm truly honored to have been a recipient of that award. You know, it's always wonderful when your fellow kingdom mates pat you on the back and saying you're doing a great job, keep going forward. We are behind you, we're supporting you, and that really does give you that encouragement and that boost. So I'm truly, truly grateful. Yeah.
Any advice for younger people who are coming up or looking forward to creating music and learning music, the trade of being a musician? Any advice for all those people out there who are actually looking up to you, you know, for the many years that you've been in this industry and still going strong? Anything for them?
Sure. I think the thing that I would say, first of all, make sure that you've got the talent, that you're gifted in that area. Number one.
Very important.
Number two, make sure that you clearly heard from God, that this is your purpose and your calling. It's so important that you hear clearly from God, because it's the word that you heard that will keep you going through the toughest of times. And that's what you have to hold on to. So if you don't have that word from God, honestly, it would be difficult to hold on to anything. So that would be the second thing. And the third thing is that you will receive some no's, you will receive discouragements along the way, but you have to push through them. You have to persevere. You have to, you know, stand up and pick yourself up. You're gonna fall a couple of times.
It's difficult. They keep saying that. Well, they tell us it's going to be difficult and all of that, but you don't really tell us how difficult it is. So people get there and they just, you know.
It can be very difficult. It can be very difficult. That's why I'm saying you're going to get a couple of no's.
Right.
You're going to get a couple of discouragements. I mean, with the world of social media, everybody has a voice and anyone can say anything about you.
Right.
And really, and that can dent your spirit at times. It can even hurt your heart at times. But you have to push through it. Make sure that you're full of the word, and make sure that you're prayerful, because that's the only way you're going to survive, is because the best way to counter the words of the enemy is through proclaiming and confessing the word of God over your life. That is what I have learned that has sustained me over the many millions of years. Millions.
Millions. You're going to be living millions of years.
Over the many years, you know, because scripture says that no weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. And then we always forget about this part at the end of that scripture that says, and every tongue that rises against you, we condemn. You know, so those are scriptures that you're gonna have to know, and the only way to know these scriptures is through reading the Word of God. So make sure that you diligently seek Him and diligently read His Word, and I promise you, it is so fulfilling to live out your purpose and to live out God's calling for your life, because even when troubles do come, you are at rest because you know that this is where you're supposed to be. It's better to face challenges resting in the fact that you are in God and you're in His purpose than to face challenges outside of God and outside of purpose.
Wow. I know that your husband has been very instrumental in your life. You work together. I think that I haven't given him enough credit. So how is working with him like? Your husband, like family together?
Oh, I love it. I love working with my husband. It's the greatest joy. I'm truly, truly blessed. I'm a blessed woman. So I know Scripture says that he who finds a wife finds favor, finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like I'm the one that got the favor. I know. Sometimes I feel like I'm the one that got the good thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because he really is a good man and an honorable man. And it's amazing working with him. He's incredibly gifted. I believe he's a genius. He's a musical genius. His musicality for me is the best in our continent and actually in the world. And I'm so honored to work with him because we understand each other. We get each other. You know, we're people who always bring out the best in each other. And I'm truly, truly grateful to that man, you know, grateful to God for that man.
And we are also grateful to him for allowing you here. We're grateful to you and your team for, you know, allowing us to have this conversation. I truly, really appreciate you and your talent and the anointing on your head.
Amen.
I'm sure the many people out there also watching E-Vibes, this edition, are truly grateful for your life. And I'm sure the conversation will continue back in South Africa because I plan to visit
That would be great.
in South Africa.
Awesome.
So that you can take me to church, take everybody else to church. And yeah, but I'm thinking that you have a favorite song of all the songs that you have. Yeah, somebody said God, he has like a lot of them. We're all God's children, right?
Yeah.
But he says that somebody is after his own heart, right? So which song of all the songs that you've produced, I mean, over the years, is after your heart?
I think probably the newest song that I released, which is called Magabongwe.
Magabongwe.
Yes, so I think that would be the song. Yeah, because I wrote that when I was going through something, and God really just showed up, and it's all every time I sing that song and every time I hear that song playing, it always feels like a hug from heaven. And so yeah, I think that's a special one for now. Keywords for now.
For now. So Magabongwe,
Yes.
is the newest one from Tokozo.
Yes.
The other pronunciation, we would have to relax on that one.
You're still coming to South Africa, so by the time you get there, we would have sorted that out.
Yeah. So we will take that one, and if you don't see me again, well, probably I'm in South Africa somewhere. I expect you.
For more than 30 years of his life, he has dedicated it to a sport that has sold Ghana to the world. His investment contributed to marketing the brand Ghana to the rest of the globe. He's a man who has decided that boxing is a sport that is his passion, a sport that he is desirous of investing his resources in. It's a sport that he says that many young talents out there would have an opportunity to build a career of their own. But the bigger question is, why boxing? And what is the reason behind that decision to get into boxing and to contributing to the success boxing has chalked in the country? And many people cannot forget about the fact that some of Ghana's world title winners passed through his hands. We cannot forget to talk about like the likes of Ike Corty,
the likes of Alfred Cote. These were gentlemen some 20, 30 years ago who won world titles for Mother Ghana. And his brain was behind the success that was chalked by some of these boxers. He continues to contribute his quota to the sport of boxing in Ghana and beyond. My guest today on Prime Tech is Mr. Yofi Boham, the man who says that boxing is his DNA. Mr. Boham, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
You and your team.
Thank you. Thank you. When I walked in, I realized that you wore a shirt that had the inscription "God's Team." What does that mean?
That's right. That's the name branded to a Ghanaian German-born boxer.
Oh, okay.
Who I handled some time ago.
Oh, okay.
And that was the insignia of the team.
Okay.
When entering the ring, that's the power of God.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is his name?
I've forgotten. He has a German name, which is very difficult to pronounce.
Yes. I can understand.
That's going beyond the borders of Ghana. Yes. He was domiciled in Britain.
Okay.
Ghanaian father, Ghanaian mother, and a German father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he happened to had the privilege of contacting me to, steer his affairs.
Okay.
I got him to the WBO international, but he lost, and then the interest went away.
That I can clearly understand.
Yes.
But talk to us briefly, Mr. Boham. I'll come to the point of you deciding that you want to do boxing. But your early childhood beginning, what were they like?
Well, I've never been a fighter. My parents knew me at that time to be very timid.
Okay.
Yes, and I've never fought.
Even the street fight?
It's in the street fight. So it amazes my parents and my siblings as to how did you get into boxing?
Yes.
Which is your main question, right? Well, when I was growing up, my youngest uncle, he was a street fighter, a boxer, and he was training in Sekendi Neighborhood Center with the legendary Eddie Blay. If you've heard the name.
Yes, I have.
Eddie Blay was the national champion during the Kwame Nkrumah era. He, an Inzima born Eddie Blay, whose brothers are still some in politics right now.
Okay.
Yes. He was a boxer training in Sekendi, and I used to follow my uncle, my last uncle, to the gym. And well, I didn't know what it was about at that time, just going in and punching bags and all that. But when I entered into my teens, then a friend of mine who was at Abosokai was running a gym. And I happened to be close to him, called E.J. Sabute. He was a customs officer. So he happened to have been transferred out of Accra. Then he says, I would like someone to look after the gym for me. And I devoted myself and was visiting the gym, attending to the training sessions of the boxers, and gradually through that I became the representative of the gym on the Greater Accra Boxing Association meeting. So attending the meetings gradually, there I got to meet the late Roy Ankra.
Yeah.
Yes. And they all came to like me. So I ended up, being voted into the Greater Accra Association.
Okay.
From there, gradually, then I was approached with 2 boxers to manage and promote. Fine. So the promotion made me to register a promotion company.
Oh, okay.
At that time, to promote
Boxers.
the 2 boxers. It's from there that came in Ikoti and Afrekoti. When I was approached with Ikoti and Afrekoti, I said, no, it's something which I felt was too would be too difficult for me to manage, because I had then not had all the necessary experience.
Okay. But
so,
were they already top quality boxers, my sister?
They were from the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
I signed them on straight from the Olympics.
Okay.
And they were top Ghanaian boxers who Amaka Amatefu, the late, the retired Amaka, had sponsored to Cuba.
Okay.
As amateurs, sponsored to Cuba. They were in the national team.
Okay.
And Amakai was very, very particular about those 2 boys. You see, and I had come to, Amakai had come to like me very much. So he said, Yofi, take on these boys, handle them, because there are a lot of parasites around. They will only go in, sign the boys, and at the end of the day, will be pursuing their own personal interests. And you get them, destroyed, their career destroyed.
So it was Amakai personally who gave them the boxes?
That's right, Amakai. But then they were under the management of, loose management, under some other guys from Mampro B. So I went in, and that was the time that Raincraft promotion was handling Azuma Nelson and Nanaya Okunedu.
Okay, top boxers.
That's right. And they happened to be very close friend of mine, Raincraft, because they were all friends to my brother-in-law way back in US.
Okay.
So at events, we all sit,
do stuff together.
Yes, behind a table, and then chat together. At that time was this the now present Golden Tulip, which has been renamed.
Oh, okay.
That's where we used to meet. So they were approached, and they said, "Oh, Yofi has toiled with these 2 boxers. The top level one could go was the Commonwealth, that is Tondaye. Ajare became a victim of stabbing. So the advisor should take on the 2 boys, who were then fresh from the Olympics, having fought 1 or 2.
Which year was this?
Oh, in fact, he has...
It should be in the early 1990s.
Yes. So I took them on with the advice of a son of the late E.C. Kwe, who is now in Chicago. He goes by name Abando.
Okay.
He was 100% for the boys. So with him, we set up a gym, and then there was a gym already ongoing, that is Akotoku gym, which was set up by the late Atukwe Clotti. And that gym was, producing tough boxers. Yes, and Atukwe Clotti, had already produced 3 of his sons. Joshua Clotti, and 2 others, Joshua Clotti and 2 other Clottis. They were all 3, and they were well-titled, promising boxers. but very unfortunately, they all fell by the wayside. And that was the era of the beginning of Azuma Nelson as well. Okay. You see, Azuma started under a coach and then graduated to Atukwe Clotis. Okay. Yes. So that was where Amaka Matefiu and some other dignitaries came together to be managing the Akotoku Academy.
Oh, okay.
So Azuma passed through that academy, passed through Atukwe Clotis, under the hands of Atukwe Clotis, alongside the three Clotis, yes. Judas Clotis, Thunder Clotis, oh, okay. Yes, and then that's right. Not Joshua. Joshua is
he's young.
Yes, very young. Yes, yes. Okay. He wasn't even, I think.
I can imagine.
Yes. Yeah. So these Clotis were the three Clotis and Azuma Nelson were the bright stars for the country in those days. Well, they fell by the wayside. They all traveled. They stayed in the diaspora, okay. UK, for instance, and I happened to have the privilege of visiting the gym in UK, the Thomas Becket gym, which had Atukwe Clotis man-size image. Okay. And that was where my boxers were lodging and then training. That's right. Kid Smiler, Tondaye, that's where they were all lodging, yes. So, with that, I came to manage them, then started to climb the ladder. That was the era that South Africa apartheid was
okay.
Really.
Yeah, at its peak.
That's right, at its peak. So, I had to, you can't do boxing alone. I had to rely on friends outside. And the main friend that I relied on was the late Ano Ekufi, who went by the name The Black Cat.
Okay, yeah. Yes, it's quite a familiar name.
That's right, Ano Ekufi. He was a goalkeeper. A guy who kept the post of Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, that's what I say, it's a very familiar name.
That's right. I was able to get Ano Ekufi. I do send him. In those days, communication wasn't as easy as today. Yeah. I do get him to visit the IBF, the BBC, convent meetings and all that. But then IBF had its headquarters in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and Andre was living in New Jersey. So I do send him messages, send him to the New Jersey office, okay. And he presents it. And so through this, I was able to get the two boys ranked and then started climbing the ladder of all the 4 world bodies.
Oh, okay.
IBF was then all the 3 world bodies. The BBO was then new.
Okay.
But the 3 major bodies were the WBC, WBA, and IBF. So IBF office in New Jersey gave Andre Kofi, an easy access to the office. So we were able to get the boys ranked. Now, with the apartheid, you have the WBA with the apartheid, the BBC, IBF were not. They weren't having South Africa in their good books. Yeah. So I was able to get the boys ranked by WBA as well. One morning, I received a phone call, invited to the ministries, and that was the time Castle 2 was there. I had to answer as to how the boys got to be ranked at the WBA, because Ghana is not to be with the WBA because of apartheid, and it was a hell. It was a hell for me. Well, it ended peacefully, and we started, we kept on going. got all the necessary documents and put in their visas application. It took 1 year for us to receive approval for them to go for their visas. In that, then Ikote was lured by Raincraft. That is how I got to lose Ikote.
How disappointing was that? Were you disappointed you lost him?
Oh yes, I was disappointed, and my spouse at that time took all the papers heading towards the court to restrain Ikote from fighting. Now the manager in US, Fred Berg, the late Fred Berg, meanwhile also took up the matter in US. And anytime that Ike was fighting, Fred will issue summons. He was a Jew.
Did you have a contract with Ikote?
Oh yes!
And it was going for how many years?
Initially, it's always for 4 years.
For 4 years.
Either 3 or 4 in those days.
In those days?
Yes.
And it means that he breached the contract?
Oh yes. Yes.
So when he breached the contract, did he compensate you?
Oh no. I didn't receive even a penny. Yes. I didn't receive even a penny. And it wasn't a breach which was just smoothly done. It was rough. You know, it was something which was really... I took the boys to the UK for Alfred's Commonwealth Championship fight. So the boys they grew up as if they were siblings.
Okay.
Because of the pronunciation of their names. A lot of people thought they were brothers.
Kote and Kote.
Kote, yes.
Okay.
But Kote is K-O-T-E-Y.
Yeah.
Kote is Q-U-A-R-T-E-Y. Yeah. So, when we went for the Commonwealth Championship, that was the first Commonwealth title fight amongst the two. Straight away, Ikote came to tell me that, and that was my mistake, that a friend of mine, Alhaji Hearts, has...
Alhaji Hearts, family of Hasafo?
Oh yes. Alhaji Hearts has gracefully told him that he will fund his ticket to London, so he will go along. I said okay, because Alhaji Hearts had been my friend for many years. When he was a ball boy and all that, he was my friend during those days. And so I agreed, and that was my downfall.
That's how he was lured away from you?
Yes.
So how did you resolve the issue with Ikote?
No, my wife had wanted to go to court, but then we were having one elder, O'Hara Jackson Davis, who was a WBC referee judge, and O'Hara happened to be a lodge member of my father-in-law.
Oh, okay.
And just entering the court premises, he met my spouse. Oh, where are you going? Because he knows my spouse.
Yeah.
Because and O'Hara Davis were lodge members.
Oh, okay.
Lodge. In those days, we have lodges. So she said, oh, what has happened is what he is sending the distance summons to court. It's been prepared. He said, no, don't go. Come, we talk about it. So
the issues were resolved out of court?
Not resolved. She came and she followed him, and there was a standstill. So a fight was to happen, which was to be promoted by Raincraft. That was, I think, African title. And I quickly prepared an injunction. I got injunction prepared. They were served. Raincraft was served. At dawn, about midnight, about 12:01 a.m., I heard my gate Dansuman, pam 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 pam. When I looked, it was elders in boxing. Alhaji Shomi Williams, then the Raincraft, Oko Dampton, uncle, and all that. What's the matter? I said, the next morning, the director of sports would like to see you, not knowing Rollins had stepped in. Our late J.J. Rollins. You know, he was a boxing man.
Yeah.
He has stepped in, and the following morning, his message was given me, trying to invite me to the castle for me to forget about everything, because we are in a small enclave. Ghana is not like US. This man will be in a state somewhere, and you can live for 10 years, you don't meet anyone. So that message came to me, and I had to leave everything to sleep.
He left everything to sleep. I
Right.
can imagine the pain.
Well, yes, the pain was there, but the boy, realized it.
Have you forgiven him now?
Oh, he knows. Forgiving him, and if he had stayed with me, he would have been very, very prosperous.
Do you think he would have been a much better boxer and be successful in his career if he stayed
Oh,
with you?
yes. Yes. Not as it was today.
But when he left you, within some few months, he won a world title.
Yes, and within a month, between the time he won his world title and Afrikoti's world title, was 1 month.
So were you pained that he could have won that world title under your management?
Yeah, if he had stayed and had not left, he would have traveled with Afrikoti. And, you know, between the two, each was an inspiration to the other. Right from their childhood. You know, they started boxing from their
So
childhood.
you feel that even the separation was more of a separation of their bondage that existed?
Yes, between them. Because if they had gone together, the 1 year that Afrikoti had in US, by winning the 8 straight fights, and the 9th fight he lost, the 10th fight would have been a world championship. The two of them would have won their world titles before that, because each was an inspiration to the other.
I see.
Whenever I'm put in the local scene, whenever one is fighting, the other one will be in his corner, or both of them will be on the same bill.
Oh, I see. That's quite an interesting one.
Yes.
And what is that special thing that you did for Afrikoti to win that world title? Because we are now at a point where it appears it's quite difficult. What was those special things that you were doing behind the scenes, helping these boxers build a career of their own?
Well, it's no magic, but you know, it's when I mention all the boxers, there you will know that one has to use his brains. On the boxing scene, on the world scene, it's more than politics. The politics that is played there, you have to have the patience. You have to have the contacts. See? And I came to be liked by Suleiman, the WBC president. So anything about Africa or even Ghana had to be channeled through me. He would channel it through me. Even the vice president of WBC, who happened to be the late Alote Kofi, who was then the president of Ghana Boxing. He, Alote Kofi, attending convention, the WBC convention, all arrangement will be channeled through me.
So it means that before you be successful, you need to have the political network at the boxing?
Yes, you have to.
Have we lost that in Ghana? We no longer have that network?
Oh, who is the one to, you know, get in for that? Not the president. Even the president. I don't think even they are familiar with the ratings committee presidents and chairmen and all that. You have to be, you know, associated with them to that level, and that's what gave or brought up Isaac Dogbe's opportunity.
Okay.
You see.
Oh, really? So you had to go through that channel?
Yes.
You had to deal with them politically for him to be rated?
Isaac Dogbe went and brought in the world title opportunity.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How did he do it?
Fine. I was approached by the chiefs of one of the couple of chiefs from the Walter region
Oh, okay.
at a boxing tournament at Azuma Nelson Complex. I After the fight, these chiefs walked to me and said, "Oh, Mr. Buham, we want you to help our son."
Yeah.
Which son? They mentioned Isaac Dogbe. Then the father was his trainer. So I said, "Oh, I'll think about it." And they said, no. As for this, if you think about it and we come and say, "Oh, then we've all lost, but we want you to be with the team." Fine, I agreed at the long run. And that was where it started. We had a couple of fights, bringing in other fighters. That's right. That's right.
Because I covered those fights closely.
Fine, and all those fights I was in.
Okay.
See, then came the opportunity for Isaac.
To fight Jesse Magdalene.
That's right.
Yeah.
So how would it come? Magdalena was then, I think, he wasn't available. He was then on, he had an injury.
Okay.
So he was given a time to recover. It was official. So the title, he was holding on to the title till it became that they should fight for it on as an interim championship.
Yeah.
Fine. It happened that Isaac was ranked number 3, so he had no opportunity. It hasn't reached him at all. You have the mandatory challenger, then come to the first contender, second contender, and then you have Isaac as the 3rd contender. That's where we have risen to.
Oh, okay.
So there was this upcoming convention. Then the father asked. I went to US to visit my son, and then quickly they phoned me. Said, "Okay, let the boy come to me in the US." And then we went in, registered and went in for the convention.
So was it at that conference you had a meeting with some of the top bosses? And
Yes. No, not the top boxes. With the convention.
I
The convention.
top bosses that don't
That's
like
right.
the decision makers.
That's right. With the WBO.
Yes.
Huh.
And that's how he was approved.
Yes. So it was approved for us to have the eliminator
Okay.
between him and then the Mexican also over here.
Okay.
And
Is it Javier Chacon or Cesar Juarez? Which of them?
I think Cesar Suarez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the last person whom he fought before the Magdaleno.
Oh, yes, yes.
So the president that then asked me. The president coincidentally was the manager of Azuma's world title victim.
Oh, okay.
Wilfredo Gomez.
Yes.
Wilfredo Gomez. He was the manager of Wilfredo in those days.
Oh, okay.
So bond was established between the two of us.
I see.
All through, whereby I became the representative of WBO even in Africa.
Oh, okay.
In my time, long before. So this man asked me, "Yofi, we've given you the nod, but can you promote it can you promote it?" I said, "Yes, we'll promote it in Ghana." Said, "Okay, these people weren't prepared to promote it, and it has to be promoted." So quickly, I phoned Isaac's father, told him the decision, and he accepted. So we had to start the ball rolling.
So that's how you brought the staff to Ghana.
That's right.
Yeah. So I just want to wrap up the conversation pretty quick. But how sad were you when Prophet Koti died?
In fact, I was very sad, but because here is a person who would have made a mark as a bantamweight, super bantam, more than a welterweight in the world, if he had comported himself in his choosing career. But
you were managing him.
Yes, managing him, and sometimes, not even sometimes, many a time. Mind you, managing a sportsman is even difficult than managing a company. One sportsman. So those who manage a team of 11 players plus
8 on the bench or 11 on the bench.
You can't just believe it. they became very dictatorial, dictators. What you feel it's good for him, he wouldn't listen. Be listening from behind, and at the end of the day, messes up. And this is exactly what used to happen. Not only Alfred Cote, but most of these sportsmen.
So Alfred Cote, is it that his choice of life was something that really affected him?
Oh, that might be his private line of life. But then, it's up to you, the manager, to advise him, guide him, and all that. And if you try your best, and the sportsman decides not to, or doesn't listen to you, there is little you can do.
Which one advice did you give to him and he didn't take?
Well, one, managing his finances. He wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it.
Why it is his money? So.
Yes, that's why. Then he cannot. How can he manage his finances himself? His level of experience in life. A youngster, 1. Level of education, 2. Life, how managing a family, 3. I cottage children were with me. They stayed with me. I picked all of them and registered them at St. Anthony's Preparatory School. They were schooling under me, living under my roof. And that was where people saw even the change. Because when they were with their grandparents in Accra, it was completely different from when they came to stay with me. Because when they came to stay with me at Dansoman, when you come, he will be in a corner facing the wall. My spouse will shout, "Don't look back." When you talk to the children, they respond by, first of all, Ofane, that is, excuse me, you see, Inga, please, yes. They never knew this when they were in Accra. Now they are all grown, and they appreciate it, ever been with me.
Would you say the decision of Cote to leave Alfred Cote also affected him in one way or the other?
Oh yes. You see, that's why I've said earlier, the two of them, they inspire each other. When they get into the ring, they were like that in the national team as amateurs. They were together, traveling out of the country. Together, they went to the Olympics. It's Cote who lost his fight, but Alfred Cote ended the Olympics without any loss. But because of a nasty cut, he couldn't continue. He got to the championship zone all right, but he couldn't fight for a medal. So they inspired each other. And when they came from the Olympics, the government had wanted to, get them to the next Olympics.
How many boxers have passed through your hands? Can you remember? Those you've managed.
That's right.
Promoted.
Very, very numerous. And
like approximately how many? 10, 20, 30, 40?
When we say boxers that has passed through my hands, both as manager, one as a promoter, the other as an advisor, numerous. Tondaye, Remus Ajari, you have Cote, Alfred Cote, you have Richard Comey, you have Isaac Dugbe, you have Brahma Kamoko, alias Bukom Banku. Okay. I'm the one who took Bukom Banku to the US.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was brought to me by an uncle with defect eyes. You see, he had the defected eyes, which was detected in the UK. So
you took them to the US to be corrected or something?
No, his story is also different. He was banned from fighting in UK. And when Simon Block, who was then the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, realized that he's come under my management, phoned and told me the boy had a problem. So he narrated to me all that happened in UK. And just as I've said, boxing being a nasty distance, his management, not knowing where they lied to the outside authorities that they had sent him to
like a facility to have the eyes
to Germany, a German facility to have his eyes corrected. Not knowing, they read that the man had been sent to Akwitia. You know, we have a German facility there, German hospital there, and they are all mainly for the eyes. So he was sent there. But then they lied to the outsiders that he had been sent to Germany, and that when it's corrected, they could then bring him back to come and fight. It was then that the father approached me. Then I picked him up from Akwitia, sent him to Kolebu. Kolebu tested him, did everything. Then I started promoting him, got him to number 5 in the world as a light heavyweight. Got him to number 5. He was above all the American light heavyweights. He was above them. And he was then, going about in Bukom in short pants and, yelling that he was on top of all the Americans. Fine, ended up sending him to the US with a trainer. It was there that trouble also came up. And the manager sat behind his desk, was weeping. You can't believe it. He wept controllably when Bankun failed the medicals. So it's just so disappointing.
This will be very, very demoralizing for you.
Yes.
But which boxer would you say has been your most prized asset as a boxing promoter and manager?
Can I say?
Is it after Kote? Because you won the world title with him.
Yes, and Dogbe also won world title under me as as the technical director of the team.
Oh, okay.
And the boxing aspect was purely my responsibility.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I would say with Dogbe it was collective.
Okay.
With Alfred Kote, it was solely me. So, but then the two wouldn't run equal.
Who is the best boxer you've ever managed?
Well, the best boxer I've ever managed is Alfred Kote.
Alfred Kote.
Yes. Alfred Kote was talented.
Wow.
Yes, talented more than Ike.
I see.
And talented even more than all the Ghanaian boxers. This is something which has to be, to be told. And then it's without any debate. Because this is a guy who I can say got to be liked by Amaka Matefiu. After Amaka Matefiu, E.T. Mensah, the late E.T. Mensah. I happened to work with all of them from the sports ministry, plus other sports ministers.
Which boxer brought you the most money?
Oh, rather, I would wish you ask my total contribution.
Exactly, I'm coming. That's what I'm asking.
Monetary, because
how much have you spent in boxing?
What man has spent in boxing on boxers could have, put up this chain of
like
estates, real estates, because it wasn't easy. A sole person managing boxers, No, it's always done by
So
team.
how much have you pumped into boxing?
Oh, what that I can say my life savings.
So approximately $5 million, $10 million, approximately.
It's unmentionable. That's my.
You probably have data of your expenditures, isn't it?
Well, I had, but when you look at the figures and you get a headache, it's better you rather
not look at it.
Don't look at it at all. Forget about it, and then life goes on.
But do you think you've made money back from boxing?
Oh no, I would say lost, because I kept on.
But how come you never even contested to become Ghana Box Authority?
Oh no! At that time, it wasn't a contesting position.
But even after that, you could have still contested.
Oh, I tell you a story. Papa Usankuma and Joe Agri sent me a message. They were coming for me to be the president of Ghana Boxing. When they came, I had left to the US. I said I don't like the position.
Why?
Oh. Look, it's very, very difficult to work with these Bukom chaps.
Is that why you've never wanted to be Ghana Box Authority president?
Yes, at all.
Or maybe you probably just been behind the scenes as promoter and then be chopping the big money.
Well, you might be right in some aspect, but then because that was what was the saying between the top hierarchy in those days.
And since then, you've never gone for it.
Yeah. Oh,
you've never gone for it. No. I have to come back to the question. Which boxer, in as much as you've pumped so much money into boxing, which boxer has brought you maybe just a little, let's say 1% of what you've spent?
Even the I would say Tondaye.
Wow.
Yes.
Not even after Kote, who won the World Title for you?
No. These boys, you rather spend for them.
Has it been worth it investing in boxing?
Oh, well, you see, I would say not materialistically, but in social aspect. Boxing has propelled me far, far, far beyond the shores of Ghana. Australia, I'm known there. Come to Europe, I'm known there. Go to US, I'm known there. And now even my name is behind a boxer, supporting the manager for the boxer to be engaged by a foreign promoter. So only the name.
You've made the name.
That's right.
But you've not made the
money.
The money.
Yes.
But do you feel you are celebrated enough as someone who is invested in this?
Oh yes, I do. I must say yes. With Azuma, it's also the same. Having co-promoted his last fight with the Australians, that is with Fenech.
Yeah.
That's a novelty fight.
You co-promoted that?
Yes. I led the team. I think it's in the Google. We're wearing my pink suit. The contingent was led by me. And the whole fight was even arranged by me and one Maxon.
Wow.
Yes.
What other team have you not told me? What other team have you not told me?
The loss of the world title by Isaac Dugbe. That's one of my painful stories in boxing, which I never forget.
What happened? You didn't play the politics at the highest level or what?
It's the father. The politics was all right, but the father, you know, is the person to be blamed. When Isaac won the world title, defended against the number 6.
Yeah, Hidunaro Otaki.
That's right. And I, the technical director, was the one, you know, who hold discussions with Top Rank, and then the matchmaker, who is the Australian, name forgotten. So after the winning of the Otaki was then the number 6. So he was on a mandatory, he was on a voluntary defense list at that time. Passed through Otaki, then the next defense was also, we were reminded.
Yes.
Otaki being number 6, the next defense, I picked the number 4. Now, why I picked the number 4, went on the drawing board, and the number 4 was from UK. Now, this UK guy was among the Commonwealth contenders when I had wanted Isaac to fight for a Commonwealth title.
Oh, okay.
They all refused to fight Isaac, all the Commonwealth contenders, which then includes the number 4. Now, at the World Championship stage, he will accept to fight because it's an opportunity for him.
Okay.
So, the father was then in UK. When when Isaac won the world title,
yeah,
the father was here. Isaac here, father here, and then boasting, oh, he wants to buy a house in this compound. Said, how? After first world title, your son, let him rest a bit. Let him enjoy his money. Fine. So I phoned Paul. Said, Paul, okay, I've approached the number 4 contender, which I've forgotten his name, and then they have accepted. Then he said, oh, then we'll make a lot of money. I said, don't talk about money now. I had then approached the TV networks in Ghana. And, you know, the relationship between Ghana and UK is so cordial that, fine. When they buy the fight, revenue comes in.
Yeah.
So you don't talk about the money. Let them accept, get contract signed, then everything becomes okay. He said okay. Then, there and then, Top Rank came out with their statement that they've signed on Isaac Dogbe. So the chaps came back, said, Yofi, if Top Rank has signed on Isaac Dogbe, then instead of promoting the fight in UK, they would like to fight under Top Rank in the US. So the opportunity gone. Said, oh, is that so? Okay. Then let me get back to the matchmaker.
Yeah.
I've forgotten his name.
Is it Michael Tamura?
Michael Tamura.
Yeah.
So I went back to Mike. Paul said, oh, I should call Mike. When I called Mike, I said, oh, Yofi, we've already negotiated and we are fighting the top, the topmost. That's the word he used.
That's Emmanuel Navarrete.
Yes. He said, topmost. You're fighting the topmost. Why? The topmost happens to be the number 2 contender, because already the number 3, the number 1 is a mandatory challenger. So I took the particulars of this guy, and then his height, everything, just right here. Then I took a tape, measuring tape, and measured his height on the wall. Then, very technical, then that of Isaac. Then I realized Isaac was under his chin. I said, Paul, what's wrong? Who decided this? He said, oh, that is Michael. He said, oh, we've already negotiated. do you know what goes on between him, Mike Atamura, and Navarati's camp? This is how Mike Atamura sold.
Then why are you blaming Paul for it?
Paul, you being the father, he employed Mike Atamura and was listening to Mike Atamura instead of listening to me and then Dr. Agumenu and then his cousin
lawyer. The other people who were part of that.
That's right.
Is that the reason why Isaac Dogbe went away from his father?
Well, after he had lost the world title, all the finances also disappeared. All the earnings disappeared.
My final question for you is this one. Have there been a moment where you felt that, no, let me walk away from boxing because I've pumped so much money into boxing? And did your family ever fight you because of that?
Oh, well, it's... well, they all had to, come to terms with it. They all had to come to terms with it because they realized that no amount of
talking could talk you out.
That's right. You see, because from there, they found me in kickboxing. They got me into kickboxing where I've been the vice president for 8 years and finally being appointed as the Ghana's ambassador for kickboxing. Found me as executive member in the Ghana Boxing Authority under Peter Zwene's administration. And so, and all that. And most of the gyms too, I happen to be the advisor or spokesperson and all that for them. So
your CV is an incredible CV.
So with this, they realized that they should leave me alone.
You spoke passionately about Isaac Dogbe. Can he still win a world title? Is he still in position to?
Oh, with my experience, it's a no-go area for him. I don't think. Take his height into consideration.
But you saw the height and you still came in to advise him.
Oh, as a super, up to the super bantamweight level, up to the super bantamweight class, he can still feature, but he has now jumped to featherweight. Featherweight, the experience that we had from with the Azuma's participation, we've come across a lot of featherweights, and Isaac Dogbe did not match them at all. Talk of DK Poison, who calls me commander. DK Poison, yes, he featured as a featherweight all along. Going in then for lightweight. In his time, there were no supers and all that, and it was difficult.
So, would you advise Isaac to drop back to?
And can he drop?
That's a challenge too. That's a challenge.
Yes,
massive challenge.
That's right. So I've been a technical person. I tell you, that's the end of the road for him when talking about world championship.
How can we improve boxing in this country?
Well, boxing improvement from the word go has to start with the Catch Them Young.
Okay, the event they're currently doing, and that's what they're doing right now.
That's right, which was much more an advice that I've been providing. Okay. The Catch Them Young. Even there are some parents who have their kids, a policeman, someone in Adabraka, they have their relatives' kids, maybe 7 years, 8 years. They say, oh, Mr. Buham, then I direct them to Jamestown. Okay. To join them. So Catch Them Young, because that's what I found in Cuba.
Okay. Okay.
It's really interesting. In Cuba, you have the gyms handling these boys, and with the parents' consent. From school, they come to the gym, train. After the training, the coaches will line up the kids and deliver them their various houses.
Okay, that is actually something Ghana can do.
Yes. So, you know, if you catch them young and they're going for corporate support, I think it will do us all good. And this is where I pray that you, the media, come in and then
help push the agenda.
That's right.
Yeah. Mr. Boham, thanks very much for your time. We are extremely grateful.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time. Continue to enjoy the programs here on the JoyNews channel. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah.
When something happens, you want to know all about it immediately. Here at JoyNews, we don't just bring you the breaking stories. We go beyond them to bring you the intricate issues in those developing stories. We are relentless in our probe, detailed in our search, and our commitment to be your most credible news source is one that you can trust, because news is all about you. JoyNews, credible, independent, and fearless.
I am Rafik Salami Wa. This is JoyNews, independent, fearless, and credible.
No, we're having a conversation. No, it's a conversation. I know, but I'm saying conversation.
Thank you very much.
Politically correct. Aren't you tired of the overly refined political opinion, banter, and analysis on radio and television?
Well, it's time to break the shackles and liberate your political opinion on social media.
JoyNews is bringing to your favorite social media platform a political talk show like no other.
Raw, live, and interactive. We call it the State of Play.
Join the best political team on social media, Evans Mensah, Winston Amwa, and Raymond Aqua, every Thursday for 30 minutes at 2:30 p.m. exclusively on the JoyNews and Joy 99.7 FM Facebook pages, as well as on YouTube and Instagram for a live interaction. Drop your comments on our live stream and engage with us on Twitter via the hashtag State of Play. State of Play, simply politically incorrect.
My name is Dr. Pinamana Pao, Hospital Director of Accra Psychiatric Hospital. We should note that people who would attempt suicide or commit suicide would communicate it to us in some ways. And therefore, as a society, we should really make time to listen to what people around us complain about. Again, when people expresses or someone expresses a wish to die, we should never ever be dismissive about it. And in all these things, we should consider our attitude towards suicide or attempted suicide. We should never be judgmental, but be empathic.
My name is Muhammad. My name is Albert Sorry, in the Indian region, and my name is Edwin Official.
I am Rafik Salami Wa.
Hello and welcome to From Our Correspondent. We are coming to you from our studios here in Accra. My name is Richard Kwejenyaku. Stay with me in this 1 hour package. We are back with more.
My name is Muhammad. My name is Albert Sorry, in the Indian region, and my name is Edwin Official.
I am Rafik Salami Wa.
The race to Jubilee House is on. Ghana is at a crossroads. It is time again for the people to choose, and the world is watching. Our team of seasoned journalists will bring you up-to-the-minute updates, unbiased analysis, and the stories behind the headlines. The election headquarters for an informed electorate. JoyNews, independent, fearless, credible.
My name is Muhammad. My name is Albert Sorry, in the Indian region, and my name is Edwin Official.
I am Rafik Salami Wa.
In our first story, following the 10,000-kilometer drive from Accra to London by Wanderlust Ghana to raise awareness of digital inequality. Over 100 tablets and laptops with accompanying safety boxes and Wi-Fi kits have been distributed to volunteers named catalysts from 30 underserved communities across 15 regions of the country. The Drive for Digitalization viral campaign Wanderlust Ghana, led in support of EduSports in July 2023, raised $20,000 for EduSports in support of the procurement of digital devices. Speaking at the event, the Dean of the School of Engineering Sciences at the University of Ghana, Professor Elsie Ifa-Kaufman, called on Ghanaians to contribute to the growing digitalization globally rather than only being users. There is more in this report.
In July 2023, the Wanderlust team nearly broke the internet by driving 10,000 kilometers from Accra to London to raise awareness of the digital inequality. The drive has yielded results, and the students in some of the country's underserved communities have become beneficiaries. Over 100 tablets and laptops with accompanying safety boxes and Wi-Fi kits have been distributed to such communities to enable them take advantage of the growing digitalization across the globe. The Dean of the School of Engineering Sciences, University of Ghana, Professor Elsie Ifa-Kaufman, stressed the need for Ghana's educational system to be digitized. She said digitalization has become a very vibrant tool for the socio-economic development of every nation.
We only want to consume. That is a problem for me. I think we should participate in the creation of these tools. It should get to the point where we are creating and contributing to the developments that are happening in the world rather than just being consumers of what we receive. We want to be users of AI as well. We forget that the AI is powerful only because it uses a whole lot of data in order for it to be trained and then for it to deploy what it has been learning through the training. Where does the data come from? Do we ever ask? The data is coming from the rest of the world. We contribute so little to that data, so that when you are using an AI system and it's giving you predictions, it's giving you information, does it actually understand you as a Ghanaian? Does it understand us as people that have certain beliefs, have certain values? Usually not. And we talk about biases in AI systems, and this is exactly it, because they have been trained on data that is produced elsewhere. The people that develop these systems have their own intrinsic ways of looking at the world, and we do not make any contribution, and so we are basically being forced to imbibe.
EduSports, a UK and Ghanaian registered NGO, has been working to train, equip and connect over 300 local catalysts to ignite educational opportunities for over 10,000 learners through a network of 50 community-led education spaces or libraries named Sports. Founder of EduSports, Catherine Davison, gave an insight into the exploit of EduSports in the Ghanaian educational ecosystem.
And then following this, with the huge support of Wanderlust Ghana and the Drive for Digitalization, and also the support of the Fonthill Foundation, we're so happy to have been able to distribute over 100 tablets with accompanying laptops, with Wi-Fi kits, and in the future we hope to get projectors too, to be able to have a start to this digital rollout process across the whole network. And it's important to say you can't distribute skills or even apps without accompanying training. So in EduSports we have a very holistic model of education, and all our digital skills training will be embedded in our existing extensive training programs for volunteers and for learners. And it's important to say in our model that 70% of our staff team have come from spot communities, so they understand the needs of the learners and of the catalysts and the change makers in the communities that they serve. And so they're right at the heart of trialling this app and the digital devices over the next period. So today is in the middle of our Catalyze Leadership Academy. So at this academy there are 30 catalysts from 30 communities across Ghana who are engaged in a 5-day residential training, and we're using them as a working group to develop the app, ensure that the functionality as it develops is based upon their needs, and to make sure it really works and the digital devices are best equipped for them and set up for them ahead of a rollout to our wider network.
Director, Strategy and Innovation at the Ministry of Education, Henry Kweku Chum Akwabua, expressed delight about the change in recent times in how teaching and learning is being done using digital tools.
So what we're seeing is that now we have more students who have higher levels of digital literacy. So we do surveys We do checks from time to time, and we're seeing those numbers increase. If I was to tell you I knew them directly right now, I don't have that, but I know that the students' ability to perform and use digital tools from going from primary to JSSSS has increased. And we've also had a big increase in the tools and ability to use digital tools amongst teachers.
EduSports, a grassroots movement, is helping to connect, train and equip many volunteers to create and sustain education opportunities in the country.
Now, a board member of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, Francis Yao Agbojo, has advised its customers in the Western region not to resort to middlemen, popularly called Goro Boys, for their various transactions. The board chair has therefore called on its customers to first resort to the Client Service Department of the DVLA for all kinds of services, including vehicle registration and acquisition of new licenses, among others. This, according to him, would help prevent unsuspecting customers from being defrauded. There is more in this report.
A board member of the DVLA, Francis Ayu Agbozo, speaking to the media on the sidelines during a working visit in the Western region, indicated that customers must always consult DVLA officers to access DVLA services for genuine documents.
My word to the public is that DVLA is doing well. If you want to access DVLA service, go to the DVLA office, look for the DVLA officer. Don't deal with any Guru guy. Now you look at our officers, they are corporate, they are well dressed, they are in their attacks. So don't go and contact a Guru boy that will mislead you to get a fake document. Make sure you get to the roots and get the correct document.
He also indicated his working visit is to check on the welfare of their staff and condition at various offices, take note of problems and deal with such issues.
So we are on a working visit to all our offices. We began the first leg in Accra. We finished Greater Accra. Yesterday we started from Central Region. We started from Winneba. We came down to Cape Coast, and today we are in Western Region, Takrady. From here we are going to Azim and then to Takwa. Then we'll return to Accra. We try to cover all the country to see our workers, the situation in which they are working, how they are working, the tools they are using to work, and the problem they are facing, so that we'll see how best we can address those problems. Now, we are unable to do it for the past 2 years because of the COVID, and now we have resumed. We wanted to see the situation they are in so that we can improve in our delivery. That's why we are here. In every human endeavor, there's likely to be a problem. Maybe they could have a problem with connectivity. We are trying to address that. We have resolved all those problems. There could be a problem of infrastructure. We are addressing it. We have a lot of renovation work going on. We have a lot of new offices that we have opened. The recent one we did was Techima. We have commissioned a very ultra-modern office in Techima. So when we go around, we see the problems, then we address them.
For JoyNews, in Athalia Kwanza, Western Region.
Now, a new research initiative has been launched to monitor and empower young women in the creative arts sector, aiming to build their capacity and to promote female participation and leadership. The research being carried out in 7 African countries seeks to transform the industry into a goldmine for young women, emphasizing capacity building and collaboration with policymakers and industry stakeholders. There is more in this report.
Ghana is Gold Coast, yes, but the creative sector is also a goldmine because of the potential it has to offer. But how are women doing in this sector, specifically young women? And this is the objective of the research.
An associate professor at the University of Cape Coast and former director of the Center for Gender and Advocacy and Research Development at the UCC, Professor Georgina Odro, outlining the aims and impact the research will have on the creative arts sector, especially on young women. She says the broader goal of the research is to turn the industry into a gold
Another
mine.
key objective has to do with the young people themselves. So the research aims at building their capacity. And you realize that it's on gender, but we have both men and women. So it's not skewed to only women when it comes to the participation. So this is going to be a 3-year project. We are now starting in 2024 and hope to end in 2026. And in this room, we have policymakers like the Ministry of Gender, because we are looking at gendered phenomenon. We have the National Youth Authority, because we are looking at young people. We have the creative sector, because it involves them. And the reason why we have these policymakers in this space is so as to inform policy. We don't want a research who will be shelved at the end of the day, or just for academics to write our academic papers, but to inform policy, to inform advocacy.
A senior research scientist at the International Center for Research on Women, Marian Oma, underscored the impact of the research, considering how she says women are marginalized in the sector.
So there is Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Senegal, and Nigeria. And so what we know is that it's a growing industry. It's a $1 billion industry, a really large industry. But then women who get their livelihood out of this sector may not be getting it to their full, So with this project, first of all, we aim to equip young researchers, especially or the youth, youth researchers with skills, knowledge and capacity to carry out research with a gender lens. Second, we hope that the research findings are going to inform policy in the various countries.
The creative arts players share their perspective on the entire project.
So as creatives, we suffer a lot in the industry when it comes to allocation of budgets, when it comes to even attention on us. But I feel like creatives are doing so much to help alleviate all the stress that is on us as Ghanaians. So I feel like with this project, what we are seeking to particularly do is to amplify the voices of creators and to create jobs.
We live in a generation where social media has taken over, and almost everybody wants to be that next influencer, everybody wants to be, and so there need to be a proper programming, proper policing, so that all genders have a fair share, so it doesn't look like one gender has an upper hand even in that sector.
Once this research is about women, it's going to help us identify such women in the industry and give us opportunity to have a lot of people to look up to in the industry, because there are a lot of people who want to do stuff in the creative industry, but they don't know who to look up to, who to talk to, or who to go to.
From the institution I come from, the National Commission on Culture, which is a policy-making institution, we believe that the project and the outcome would serve as a very significant source to inform policy formulation and even to the extent of legal frameworks within the creative space in Ghana.
The research project Outdoored is expected to explore multiple methods to reach outcomes that will enhance the growth of the creative arts sector.
A total of 450 visually impaired persons across the Bono East region have been trained in basic specialized information communication and technology to provide them with requisite knowledge and basic skills to participate effectively in the information and knowledge society. The move, according to the CEO of GIFEC, Prince Sefa, is to offer them the knowledge to access a wealth of information available online for their personal development. Anna Sabit has more.
The Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, with support from the International Telecommunications Union and the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, has trained over 450 visually impaired persons with basic specialized information and communications technology to provide them with the requisite knowledge to participate effectively in the information and knowledge society.